Hey guys, this is the Fort Worth Glock guy, and doing another knife video. And the reason I'm doing this is it's a special request from the Fort Worth Colt guy, because we were chatting earlier today, and we got on the topic of knives. And you know, he's not into knives, you know, as much as I am. I do. Like knives, and I've really gotten into them, and he was asking about the different kind of blade options, and I was talking to him about the straight edge versus a serrated edge blade, and he said, well, why wouldn't you just carry a combo edge, because it's got the best of both worlds. And my answer was, well, yes and no, because typically on a combo edge, and I wish I had one to show you, but I just don't, you're limited to about this much of the blade dedicated to the serrations, and then this much of the blade dedicated to the straight edge in general. And that's really not enough to get the job done on tasks that I want to use it for. So to kind of demonstrate this, I was using a couple little tomatoes. So, and just to kind of show you, this is my sage, and it's new, and it is very sharp. And I use this as an example. I said, look, this is a really sharp knife, and when I cut, it does a great cutting job. But as I'm cutting, notice that it's kind of squishing down on this, and the juices are coming out. Even if I'm holding it like this and I'm dragging across, yes, it's sharp, and yes, it gets the job done, but it is still kind of squishing out the juices. Like you can see, it's not rounded, it's kind of squished a little bit. So I said, now, if I were to use this serrated blade without using any pressure at all, I'm just kind of holding on to it and just drag it across like this, it keeps it perfectly rounded. And I could use this, and I can cut like razor thin. And because of the serrations on there, and me dragging across like this, I mean, I'm getting these very fine bits of tomato. And you notice they're all still perfectly intact. So because of the serrated blade, I can cut ultra thin, which I can't do with a straight edge. And when I'm cutting, because of the serrations, I can cut, and I'm not squishing out the insides, because the serrations are grabbing on as they're cutting. So I can just pull straight across. I can get razor thin, and all the juices are still inside the tomato, which is really kind of cool. I mean, look how thin that is, and you can almost see through that. Yummy. Okay, so anyways, I was just trying to explain that to him, why I prefer having I would rather carry two blades. One is a straight and one is a serrated, rather than a combo edge, for this reason. And just because when I want to use a serrated blade, I want to use the entire blade, not just a small portion of the blade. And same thing for this. A straight edge is going to do most of your tasks, most of your daily tasks, just fine. And I don't need to cut paper thin with a straight edge. So anyways, he just said, man, you ought to make a video about that. He goes, that's the most interesting knife discussion that I've had, because he is a knife newbie, and I'm still learning about it too. But this is why I prefer the two different blade styles, and I do like them both, but just for different purposes. So anyways, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm certainly not an expert on this. This is just what I've learned through the course of my exploration of knives. So if you guys have any other comments, just feel free to leave me a message. All right, Fort Worth Glock Guy, out.